It was a bright Saturday morning in Oakwood Estates, a gated suburban community where the lawns were green, the mailboxes polished, and the rules enforced with religious fervor. At least, that's how Karen Whitfield liked to imagine it. As the self-appointed enforcer of the HOA, Karen took it upon herself to ensure undesirable elements didn't ruin her perfect neighborhood. So when she spotted a black woman carrying groceries into the corner house at 124 Maple Drive, her suspicion flared. Karen didn't recognize her, and in Oakwood, that alone was enough for alarm. "Excuse me," Karen shouted, marching across the street with her phone in hand. "What are you doing here?" The woman, tall and poised, set down a grocery bag and raised an eyebrow. "I live here." Karen scoffed. "No, you don't. This house belongs to the Thompsons. I've lived here 20 years, I know everyone who belongs. You need to leave before I call security." The woman smirked, clearly amused. "My name is Dr. Simone Carter. I closed on this house 3 weeks ago. The Thompsons sold it to me." Karen blinked. Sold it? No one had mentioned a sale at the last HOA meeting. She crossed her arms. "That's impossible. I would know if this property had been transferred. The HOA requires approval, and we didn't approve you." Simone chuckled. "I don't need your approval. I own this property outright. The papers are filed with the county." Karen's face flushed red. "You don't belong here. I'll have you evicted." But Simone wasn't intimidated. She picked up her groceries, smiled, and said, "Good luck with that." Then she shut the door, leaving Karen fuming on the sidewalk. Karen didn't let the matter rest. The idea that a black woman had somehow slipped into her pristine neighborhood without her approval was intolerable. She spent the next week drafting complaints, citing obscure HOA bylaws about lawn maintenance, mailbox height, and community standards. At the next HOA meeting, Karen slammed a thick folder of papers onto the table. "We have a serious problem," she declared. "A woman has illegally moved into 124 Maple. I say we vote to evict her." The other board members shifted uncomfortably. Mr. Daniels, the treasurer, cleared his throat. "Karen, my niece is a realtor. I checked. The property legally changed hands. Dr. Carter is the rightful owner." Karen waved him off. "Technicalities. She doesn't fit the community image. We can fine her, pressure her, make her life miserable until she leaves." Some nodded reluctantly, while others exchanged uneasy glances. They knew Karen's crusades often crossed lines, but few dared oppose her. Meanwhile, Simone lived unbothered, her days filled with morning runs, online lectures, and tending her garden. She noticed Karen's surveillance, the whispered complaints, the notices stuffed into her mailbox. But Simone had faced worse. As a successful neurosurgeon, she was no stranger to being doubted, dismissed, and underestimated. When yet another notice appeared, this one threatening fines for improper occupancy, Simone decided it was time to play along. She wrote a polite letter to the HOA board requesting a hearing. If Karen wanted a fight, Simone would give her one, but on her terms. The HOA hearing was held in the community clubhouse. Karen arrived early, clutching binders stuffed with documents and pictures of Simone's house, her trash bins, her flower pots, even her car in the driveway. She was determined to paint Simone as a rule breaker. When Simone entered, heads turned. She wore a sleek navy suit and carried a slim leather briefcase. With calm confidence, she greeted the board members, shook hands, and took a seat across from Karen. "Let's begin," the HOA president, Mrs. Martinez, said, trying to keep order. Karen launched into her tirade. "She doesn't belong here. She parks in the wrong direction, she leaves her porch light on too late, her grass isn't the correct shade of green, and most importantly, she never received HOA approval to live here." Simone waited patiently, then opened her briefcase. "If I may?" she asked, pulling out a stack of documents. "Here is my deed, filed with the county. Here is proof of mortgage clearance. And here," she smiled, sliding another paper across the table, "is something you might find interesting." Karen snatched it, eyes scanning the page. Her face went pale. It was the lease to her own house. Simone leaned back smoothly. "Yes, Mrs. Whitfield. You see, I not only bought 124 Maple Drive. I also purchased 128 Maple, the property you've been renting for the past 7 years. The Thompsons sold me both." Gasps echoed around the room. Karen stammered, "That's impossible." But Simone's smile was steady. "So, technically, if anyone is facing eviction here, it's not me." The revelation shattered Karen's authority. Her neighbors, long weary of her bullying, now saw her hypocrisy laid bare. She had tried to force out the very woman who now held the title to her own home. Over the following weeks, Karen's reputation crumbled. No one backed her complaints anymore. When she tried to rally neighbors against Simone, they turned away. She received a polite but firm notice from Simone's property manager reminding her to pay rent on time, or face eviction. Meanwhile, Simone thrived. She landscaped her garden with bright flowers, hosted book clubs, and volunteered at the local clinic. Slowly, Oakwood Estates began to change. Where Karen had enforced fear, Simone built bridges. Neighbors of all backgrounds felt welcome for the first time. One evening, Karen appeared at Simone's door, her bravado gone. "I just wanted to apologize," she muttered. "I was wrong." Simone studied her, then nodded. "Change takes time. Maybe start with being a better neighbor." Karen swallowed hard and left. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was a beginning. As Simone looked out over her new community, she knew one truth: ownership wasn't just about property. It was about claiming space, demanding respect, and reshaping a place for the better. And in Oakwood Estates, the balance of power had finally shifted. The moral of this story is: prejudice and arrogance can blind people to the truth, but respect, resilience, and integrity will always expose ignorance.